Hello and welcome to another episode of Unfiltered Rugby League, hosted by Conor,
Shay.
This week we're going to be going through all the previous weekend's fixtures and looking ahead to next week. Shay, I think it's important that we start in last Thursday's game. Leeds hosted St Helens, first win for them in 9 years, I think. What did you think of that one?
Yeah, it was a poor game back for St Helens, I thought, because I thought the first half they had the chance to try get Leeds, and obviously they didn't do it. Half time passed by and Leeds kicked on it second half, didn't they?
It's a weird one because I saw it at 16-8 and thought, even though they're 8 points in front, it just didn't seem big enough, did it?
No.
Which, I don't know, it's a weird one because in years gone by I would have probably thought that's enough for Saints. I reckon one more try Saints had, I'm not saying kicked on, but I think they'd have held off and it'd be enough, but Saints just couldn't seem to in that second half get a break, and they were just their own worst enemies, weren't they? Architects of their own downfall, as they say. And yeah, I think there were some performances to be looked at there. Surely Rowley's got to be dropping. I know he's struggling on troops again in the backs, but Kyle felt.
Yeah, I think it got mentioned by a few people that surely there's a youngster knocking around in and around Saints Academy reserves that could possibly get a chance. He's just not good enough.
You'd think after that game, Jacob Douglas, if he can't get a game for next weekend when no Murphy, no Cross.
Yeah.
I have no idea what's happening with Nene McDonnell, but that doesn't look to be kind of turning back anytime soon, or if he's having a miraculous recovery. But yeah, it's like the forgotten man as well. I think they've got players there. I thought they looked a bit more consistent with Whitby in the halves, but yeah, to me it seemed excuses from before the kick-off, or with the team's a necessity. It was a necessity rather than a choice to put Whitby in the team and go with them in the halves. Sailor on the wing. He's not a winger, is he? But he was there and he did a job. But yeah, it's just, I don't know. What about thoughts on Jack Wellesby before we move on to Leeds?
I don't think he played particularly well. I don't think any Saints player played particularly well, but I just think he seemed like a bit of a confidence man, I think, and his confidence needs to be quite high for him to keep performing well, and like I say, his confidence is shot in it.
Do you think there could be something to do with something going on behind the scenes with this one?
Yeah, I do. I think potentially though, I think he's been one of them over the last probably 2 years, and he's probably been guilty a bit of managers saying, "Oh, you're going to play in halves and whatnot," and he's probably just been like, "Yeah, sound," which realistically probably should have just doubled down and said, I'm a fullback, I want to play fullback, or yeah, I'll play half this week, but I want to play fullback, because I think that's, I mean, you look at it 2 years ago, well, before 2 years ago, no one had any doubts of him being number one for England into any international sort of setup, whether it would be the Ashes or I know we've just had one Ashes and we're going into World Cup, and he wasn't around for the World Cup previous, but I think, like I say, 3 years ago, you'd have probably said, yeah, he's nailed on to be England's one for the next 10, 15 years. Yeah, easily, which I think that's...
Do you think Brian McDermott's, obviously he'll be starting to maybe get a few feelers of, I reckon he might have 10 players nailed on who he's taking, but there'll be a decent crop. What, they take 24 maybe to the takeover, something like that. Yeah. So he's probably got 13, 14 players there that he kind of isn't sure on yet. Do you think Wellesby's part of them plans? Or do you think it's like a hopeful plan?
I think he could be in trouble. I think there's a real possibility England go with Herbie Farnworth, depending on the centre options he's got, but Herbie Farnworth could potentially play full back. I think AJ Brimson will get picked. The weekend he played centre,
didn't he? Yeah, I've seen that.
But he can also play full back as well if Brian McDermott wanted to change it around. So I think he could be in real trouble, if I'm honest.
Yeah, I won't be sort of shocked to see it, to be fair. At this stage of the season as well, I think he's got to have the next 6 weeks probably are vital. I think if it gets any longer than that and he's leaving it till the last sort of like 6 or 7 games of the season, it could be just too little too late for him. But probably might not be a bad thing. It depends if St Helens, back him and think, it's a couple of years of bad form for him, and he's going to be our fullback. We obviously have heard the potential news of Sailor re-signing at St Helens, which if you're Jack Wellesby, you're probably looking, thinking, well, this hasn't worked for the last 2 years, so I don't know what changes now. But yeah, I think it's an interesting one with Jack, because he's gone from being the man, the poster boy of Super League, NRL contracts looming, everything, the world at his feet really, or the rugby world at his feet, and he just seems to be really struggling now to get that run of form, and maybe he's been victim of, like you say, he's been taking up different positions out of a team first mentality, and unfortunately, it's backfired at this moment in time. I think the worst spells in the game where he showed little things where he were back to sort of like, escaping tackles, going in, getting the ball, and he just don't look himself, does he, at the minute? And I think the club definitely haven't helped him with that. So
I think the worst bit were I can't remember, we commented at the time, but as soon as the full-time whistle went, I think 3 players walked
straight off the field,
straight down the tunnel. So like I say, I know Saints fans have been quite vocal on social media and just in general about this season, but at the end of the day, if you do look at it, they dropped down to 3rd now. Or is it still
third? Warren, Leeds, Warrington, they might be 3rd,
so
as well, which is
they've dropped down to 3rd, and I just think, performance over the last sort of 3 weeks haven't been 3-4 weeks haven't been great, but I think for the Saints players to, they said a few that walked straight down the tunnel, it just shows a disconnect there at the minute, doesn't it, between the players and the fans.
I think so. Someone commented, I think it was John Wilkin commented, didn't he, after the match, saying, I think he thinks it's individuals.
Yeah.
And that team mentality just isn't there at the minute, and you can't really disagree with the comments, can you?
Well, I don't think I know people have said the attack's better now compared to the defence of under Wellens, but I just think all round I know you can probably look at stats and say, right, we've conceded 10 points a game on average, but I don't think there's much change there at all, just across the board. I don't. When you look at Paul Rowley's, Salford's side, I definitely don't see any of that in St.
I see none of that, and surely like every other fan is looking, thinking, I don't see any of this. Because
I thought at the start of the season, the only thing that was going to save Paul Rowley was the fact that he had the flair players there. So he had a Tristan Saylor. Saylor, he's really off the cuff, like he can cause problems. Yeah. I thought they had them sort of players. They had fast outside backs.
Yeah, Clark still does a job in the middle.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So I thought there were potential there, but now it's not gone that way. I know it's really early on, but I think he could really struggle.
I think there's certain players definitely letting that club down.
Oh,
There's some that. Do you know what? For Saylor's efforts, you can't fault. Every week, Daz Clark, mainly every week. But I think there's certain players that should know better, really, are completely underperforming.
It'd be interesting to know what Lomax thinks inside of his head when he goes home from training, because he's been there now through the glory days and whatnot. And surely he's sat down at one point now, and whether it's at training or in the gym, and just looked around and thought, what is going on here?
Yeah.
Like what's going so far wrong? And
do you think they're on a slippery slope? I know they're lucky because they've collected a lot of points early doors, and that might just save them in terms of finishing top 6. But do you think they're on a slippery slope? I see Saints now as everyone, even Wigan, in years gone by, probably fair playing them. They're fair playing at home, they're fair playing them away, which you can't say for a lot of clubs. Sometimes you might fear going to Cass away because of just the difference in, like we spoke about with Kieran Rush the other day, the facilities, the fans on top of you. It can be quite a difficult place to go. People talk about how KR, even when KR weren't what they are now, the powerhouse, they were still a tough place to go. Whereas Saints were fully home and away, no one wants to play them. Whereas do you think clubs look at them now and players think, they're fucked taking these. They're nowhere like what they used to be. I don't think anyone fears them. I think they could be in a real. I think they're going to go on a slope now, but I feel like they're going to do what they've done in previous 2 years where they still have struggled. They'll struggle, and then all of a sudden they'll get a good win. Yeah. And then everyone's like, "Oh, Saints are back," and then I just feel like that level of inconsistency that's there at the minute is really. I think at the beginning of the year they won a lot of games that were 50-50 and they've just managed to get it on their side. How many did they win by? 4 points, 2 points?
So I think they could be on a slippery slope myself personally.
And obviously, talking about Leeds, probably a good test of character for them, because if they'd have lost that game, I think that would have said a lot of question marks about them as well. And interestingly, would the Brad Arthur news had come out on Friday had Leeds lost that game?
Potentially not.
I don't think it would have come out. I think they've probably thought it's a good time to bring that out.
But to be fair, one thing we also mentioned this, the after-match interviews. I sometimes feel like this. They spoke to Brad Arthur, and you could tell he wasn't happy by the performance. You could tell, like it was obviously he was happy to get the 2 points, but you could see he was frustrated by the performance, which is rightly so. They had a shocking first half, but then Paul Rowley comes in, and it's almost like
smile on his face. Yeah,
it's like I don't know whether that's what. You look at what Leeds have got now. They've got a massive cultural shift with Brad Arthur. Like you see these, they do them mini documentaries now every week, inside the locker room and whatnot. And you see the way that he speaks, and he's not going to stand for no shit, really. Pretty much. And you do sometimes think with Paul Rowley, is he giving St Helens that? Inside. So,
or is he one of the boys? It's kind of that. I think they probably eventually. Maybe Paul Rowley's been a gap. He's had good pedigree, hasn't he, at clubs, obviously Toronto, League.
He wouldn't be short of a job.
100%. He'd pick somewhere else up pretty quick. Somewhere like Huddersfield. Yeah. Like longer term. But like you say, Saints have always had big characters as their head coaches, people that have come over and demanded, like, not to liken them, but the likes of Daniel Anderson in years gone by when they won the treble. You've got, even back to Ellery Hanley when he coached them and something like. You've got Christian Wolff who came over. The players talk about how much they feared them. Leon Price talks about Daniel Anderson being one of the scariest blokes he's ever come across. That's not them putting the fear factor in, but you go back to the Alex Ferguson thing. Yeah. I think there's still a place for that. I think Darryl Powell puts that kind of thing in players.
100%.
You can see it, can't you? And sometimes you look across these kind of clubs where, and it doesn't mean to say they have to be an older sort of person, because Holbrook's come in before and done a fantastic job at a younger age.
And I think what the key thing is with these sort of managers that you're mentioning, and obviously Brad Arthur, because we're speaking about Leeds, is if you're not playing well, doesn't matter how much money you're on.
Yeah, you're out.
You're out. You've seen it, Harry Newman, like he's their marquee, and he was been on loan at Hull for 2 or 3, 4 games this season. So that's I feel like that's something that Saints need. I feel like sometimes that you look at them after a game, and don't get me wrong, you've seen your mates after a game, like you've been mates for a long time. But I'm just thinking, like, when you're on back of some heavy defeats and games that have just been shocking to watch.
Yeah.
Like, it's get over to fans, clap your fans, and just get down tunnel. When you're in the tunnel, or after match, you can speak with your mates, have a laugh, and whatnot. But you can see Saints fans becoming.
You can see it all over. I mean, it's poor how toxic fans can become 100%. A fan base, and it happens across the board. But some are pretty bad, and the Saints stuff that's going on. You see the comments, Facebook posts straight away at the end of a defeat, new signings, people leaving, whoever, the new guy that's coming from Bulldogs, already fans slating him, and it's like the guy hasn't even put his boots on, on the pitch yet. I don't know if he'll be playing this weekend, but they need some at St Helens, and I don't know what it is, and I'm not sure whether Rowley can deliver that. They've took points, they were top of the league for a period. It's only the last couple of weeks they've come off the top, so you never know if they go and beat Warrington this week. I think they'll jump above them, and if Leeds don't manage a win, then they're back top at table. So it's a strange one, isn't it? But it can go the other way, and you can end up being 4, 5, 6 points behind.
I think with the pressure of the St Helens fans, I can't see come round 1 in 2027. Paul Rowley's your man.
Yeah, do you think he sees the season out?
I think he could see the season out. But it wouldn't surprise me. You've got Lee Breers there.
There's people leaving it though. Carroll's going now as well, and they've just announced that.
But yeah, I don't think Paul Rowley's going to be there next year, just because I feel like there's a slippery road to go down now. Lee are picking up wins who are currently outside the top 6. There's other clubs like that are low down that are still picking up a fair few wins now. After it was a turbulent start across the board, I think at the start of the year, but I think if his chances are missing, the missing top 6, I think.
I think the positive thing for St Helens is either way, whether Rowley stays and gets them going, or as you say, they've got a new director, a CEO in now. He's going to be obviously working alongside the chairman, trying to get things in control and looking ahead to the next couple of years. You see how Ian Belize spoke in terms of what the next few years will look like, and they seem to know that without even having a coach. Yeah. And obviously now they've got the coach nailed down for another couple of years. You'd think they would only go from strength to strength now, Leeds, which is good. We want a good Leeds right now in Super League. A club like that, they've got to be up there. I know geographically, in terms of a massive city like Leeds and having a good rugby league team there, especially whilst the football's doing pretty well, that's what we need as a sport. But yeah, I think the positive thing for Saints is if they did not, and they just chose to get rid of Rowley, I don't think they'd be short of candidates. I don't think it'd be a case of like Huddersfield searching round for ages, then having to find, possibly like B, C,
there'd be a lot of CVs
B-rate
going
coaches.
In, wouldn't there?
I think they'd be pretty set on, and then they'd probably have a good choice of coaches. But I wouldn't be shocked if it were an Aussie again. Seem to do pretty well with the Aussies in charge and stuff. It just seems to work normally. But yeah, Leeds obviously. Class news for them with Brad Arthur. He's got them ticking on. He's got things out of him. We've seen the likes of Jake Conor. You've got players like Cameron Smith leaving at the end of the season, but just quietly going about his business on the field. Interesting, Ian Blaze talking about the players and the Croft scenario. Yeah. They offered him the money to stay, equal to what Warrington were offering him, and still chose to go to Warrington. So.
I think just
personal.
I think geographically, he's been set up in Manchester now ever since he came to England. Travel, work. It's not nice travel, is it?
No.
Across the M62 corridor, so to speak, and traffic and whatnot. It's not great travel. Do I believe they matched the deal that Warrington offered? No, I don't.
It's an interesting one because why would he come out and say that?
I think he's come out and said that to soften fans. It has been notoriously known before that Leeds haven't maybe paid as much as other clubs because they've managed to get players in there because of maybe the silverware cabinet and whatnot, and just because it's Leeds in general. So I think it's maybe to get fans on side. Well, it is to get fans on side a little bit, but now listen, they could have matched it anyway. But I feel like I say, geographically, everything that's going on. And to be fair, Warrington, it's not like they're a club that's also massively building as well. Yeah. I think they'll be in for another big year next year as well under Sam Burgess. So yeah, I think it was a deal that worked out well for.
I wonder if it were, and I know it might not happen as much in rugby as it would in football, but I wonder if it could be anything to do with like match bonuses and stuff like cup, a cup winning, appearance, all that sort of stuff. They have obviously talked geographically, and him being over there, that's been common knowledge for a while now, but it does make you think, as it could have been that, they could offer a basic of what he was on, but they were offering 30 grand for a Challenge Cup final appearance or a Challenge Cup final win or Grand Final appearance. You never know, do you, with these sort of players, what they're getting over the line. But interestingly, we'll get someone on the podcast soon that can reveal a little bit about some contracts and how they work in.
I think Warrington could be a little bit dangerous next year, just because of the cap room that they're probably they've signed Ewan Irving, they've got 5 years, so that will be an incremented deal, so it will go up as year in year, and if he meets certain things, his money will probably go higher than. But you think for the next 2 years, he's probably not going to be on masses amount of money, and he might take the 7 shirt next year. So they might be looking at it and think, look, we've got 2 years here to plug a lot of money into.
I'd be looking at 2 outside back. I'd be looking at 2 centres. Toby King's obviously leaving, which will be a lot of money off the cap. But then
they've got Albert Hobb been killing it. They've got like Josh Smith, who signed from the New South Wales Cup, whichever one it was, but he's gone really well as well.
Can you imagine if they got some proper gun centres like playing in there? Like Hopewell might end up on the wing. He might stay in the centre, but they've definitely obviously got Matty Ashton on one. I don't know whether Smith's the answer on the other long term, but he's definitely a good squad player. But yeah, some 2 gun centres. Curry's been a revelation at loose. I think how he's transformed to a loose forward's
100%.
been class for them.
Yeah.
A real kind of whoever's come up with that, obviously maybe Burgess or whoever,
Yeah.
but that seems to have worked really well. And then maybe just a couple of impact players off the bench. But yeah, you've got Taylor Ray, who should come back. It just depends, obviously, and his injury's done it with him. But
Yeah. I think he's just too quick for himself.
well, yeah, they say that, don't they?
Yeah.
Fibres and stuff. It's just
his hamstrings go all the time, and I think he's just too quick for
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they scraped to win, didn't they, on Friday night? I mean,
yeah.
I thought they were fortunate, to be fair. To be honest, that how that game was panning out, I thought, Hull are going to nick this.
Yeah.
And I think Hull will be devastated to come away from that with nothing. Obviously, there were a point as well, I think. Did the score in the corner, it was chalked off, which would have just extended that lead a little bit. Hardacre, obviously, having a pretty nasty injury by the sounds of it. I don't think there's any knowledge on and news on that yet. But, yeah, I think Hull, there were a bit of spirit there, to be fair. I think it helped. They had a Herman back, didn't they? So he sort of like was throwing the ball about a bit in the middle. Batchelor, I thought, had a decent game. But, yeah, I think Warrington in years gone by had got beat there, I think.
I think that's the key of this year. A lot of people have still earmarked Warrington as sometimes the performances haven't been pretty, but I don't think that's why I don't think Warrington fans mind that, because like I say, in years gone by, there's some wins that they've had this year that they definitely lost. Years
100%.
Years gone by. So it's about building them wins, and like I say, when look further down the season, when you look towards the back end of the season, when you can get a home semi-final, something like that.
Yeah, that's it.
It's massive. So yeah.
What happens if they go to St Helens and lose this week, and then what does that mean? Or do you think not a lot in the scheme of things?
Yeah, probably not a lot in the scheme of things. Obviously, we'll come on to predictions later on, but not a lot in the scheme of things. I think Saints have still got a few out. Still got no Hastings. So I think that maybe will be a tougher game. I think Warrington will be going into that game thinking like, we can walk away with the 2 points here. I don't think it'll be a case of so much pressure on like we've got to do this, we've got to do that.
Yeah.
It will be a case like we are confident we're good enough and we can beat these. So I don't think it'll affect them them too much, but yeah, we'll just have to wait and see.
I want to touch on the referees.
Yeah.
Obviously, they've come in for a bit of stick this weekend, possibly rightly so in some cases. But what's your take on it at this moment in time?
Well, to be fair, I haven't got a problem with the referees directly, or I know obviously they get abuse. We watched that documentary at the beginning of the year, didn't we? Which I thought were a really good documentary, but I just feel like with the top two of Liam Moore and Chris Kendall, and I think Liam Rush is headed into that category.
I think so. I think he's around there, definitely.
I just think there's too much of a gap between them and the rest of them, and I feel like you can
Why
see
is
it.
that? Do you think? Why is that?
I don't know.
Is that intuition of the refs themselves? Like, can you not train that sort of stuff? Do you know what I mean?
I don't think you can. I think you instill a certain level of authority, and I feel like.
What about like Jack Smith and stuff? What?
I think Jack Smith he can get quite flustered. I feel like you can just see it sometimes on the face, whereas Liam Moore and Chris Kendall, don't get me wrong, like, I'm not saying they've got every single decision right, and I'm sure there'll be fans out there that tell us they've done this, they've done that, but when they make a decision, and they just seem so much more in control, and they seem like they can control the game when it's getting out of hand. Yeah. And I just feel like with the rest of them, especially the Wakefield game this weekend, I thought were quite poor.
For me, it's.
But what I will say is as well, just before you say, I don't believe the touch judge help them.
What are they doing?
I'd love to see what they do and what they do bring to it, because how many times do we see forward passes?
It's the offside for me.
There's certain stuff with the elbow this weekend. Jack Hughes stood next to touch judge. They're not seeing anything. So if they're not getting every single forward pass, they might as well not be there and let the referee make a call on a forward pass, and because forward passes can be quite 50-50 anyway, so they don't get seen a lot of the time. So let the referee call that, and now you've got every game on TV, and every game's obviously got the bunker system. just let the referees because I just don't know what the touch judge brings apart from seeing a conversion go over.
Yeah, I think, like you say, we've got the touch judges that go there. You almost think sometimes, would they be better in a gantry, looking like a fan would? Because the fans see these passes. You can see they're offside.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You could literally be in a gantry in a top view of some kind, and you can have not a bird's eye view, but a good view of the game. And it could be in the earpiece, the ref, look to your right, they're offside every time. Look to your left, they're offside. That would have fallen past on last play. Just watch the short
what I'd love to see as well, what they do in NRL so well is we've got this thing at the minute of players staying down to buy a penalty. I think what should happen as soon as any sort of contacts sort of made, the person who's doing the video ref, like they see a little replay of it, and if a player even because you see him still getting gingerly and playing the ball, so it gets overlooked, but look at it and go straight down. Obviously, you've got the comp and say that were eye that, and just blow for eye tackle.
Yeah, it's there.
Like, there was an incident where Josh Rourke stayed down, and again he stood next to the touch judge. Like I'm talking, he couldn't be any closer to the touch judge. The tackle were high. Yeah. And he stayed down, and we've wasted another 5, 6, 7, 8 minutes at game then, just so he can get a penalty. Which I know fans don't want to see players milking it, but at the end of the day, I know for a fact Daryl Powell's not going to tell his players not to when he was literally inside his own 10, first tackle. If you can get a penalty to get yourself out of there, then you're going to do it. So
you're not going to be told off for it.
I think the whole thing, everyone, all the club owners, coaches and whatnot, they all want it tidying up.
100%, it's the common thing coming out of every game. Captain's challenge taking too long, video ref decisions taking too long, people falsifying penalties, which is ruining the game and getting away with stuff. The lack of consistency from like high shots. Some are getting sent off for it, some are getting sin binned, some are getting nothing, some are getting 2 games, some are getting no games. What are the charges? How is it working? So I think definitely needs cleaning up of some kind. I don't know how that's done, but they're going to have to do something pretty quick. So again, Thursday night, what time? That Saints game, it will gone 10 o'clock, wasn't it?
I think most games have been 2 hours.
I think we were 25 minutes into that game, and it were already 20 to 9, which is when it should be half time. Like you can't use. I used to go on right. If the game's at 8 o'clock, it should be done for about 8:30, something. Half 9. Sorry, an hour and a half to an hour and 4.
Latest.
Like for it to be literally gone 10 o'clock, 2 hours, is shocking. Like we said before, what kids are watching that at 10 o'clock at night? They're not. They're not. So a good parent would probably be shoving them to bed before then. Yeah. But then how bad are you feeling? Saying, you can watch first half, but then you go into bed. It don't work. I know it's got to kick off slightly late. I think, to be fair, I think the games could kick off at 7:30.
Well, I think they could kick off.
I think they could do 7:30 for games, and they should be done by 9:15. Yeah. You'd get more people going to them, more people watching them. I think there's got to be a few changes. As we've said, the product is not the problem. It's how it's ran and put together. Kieran Rush told us, didn't he, about like the screens and stuff in the studio for video refs are not quite clear, which I thought were actually quite helpful for us to know, because we're not kind of privy to that, are we? But,
I can deal with that. It's just the length of time it's taking. Like I say, if you have a 30-second cap on it, and just because when you watch NRL, it's not taking that long. And even then, after I get they've got more cameras and more angles and whatnot, but if their screens aren't that clear, well, they should be watching Sky Sports screens. Yeah. Because we're all sat at home, like how many times that Saints game, we'd like you would see it once, and like, oh, that were a knock on.
Yeah, yeah.
And then you go up and get a drink, and you come still
doing it. And then someone mentioned it the other day, saying you actually get to the point, whether you're a fan of either team or not, just like, look, just make a call.
Yeah. Just inconclusive,
leave it, and let's just move on.
Yeah.
That's the frustrating part of it for me, and it's just bizarre. Like, you think that, and you've seen. I know we've got different angles and all the rest of it at home, and high definition TV, and see it all, but.
Well, you'd think though they'd have better
something there. Yeah,
you'd think they'd have better.
Half the time it makes you think, well, do that, but load Sky Go up on your phone and just watch it on your phone, because what we can see on the telly right now, he's giving us an answer. What we had 4 or 5 minutes ago. Yeah, the games are far too long, which is really strange, because we've always had the video ref, And I'm sure in 2006, 7, 8, 9, 10, we weren't talking about this.
Well, I think this is the problem. We've tried to copy the NRL, but we're not there as a competition yet,
No.
or maybe technology-wise, to have this implemented, and it's showing. Don't get me wrong. I think I'm still a fan of keeping it, but right. So as soon as you've got set up and you viewed the first angle, you've got 30 seconds then, and if you can't make a call within 30 seconds, it's inconclusive. Simple as that.
Yeah.
And players might moan at it, but just get the game going.
Yeah, get the game back going, man.
He's killing it. Even when you're sat in stands or at home, you know it's bad when you're getting annoyed at home and you're in your own comfort, just sat on the sofa, eating some chocolate, whatever you're doing, and you're still getting annoyed at being at home. So, let alone when you can hear the fans groaning. Like when you're in stands,
You
like,
can.
oh my, let alone then the players are stood stiff.
Well, that's it. It's no good for the
minutes.
players, and then you're thinking, well, no wonder we're getting more and more injuries because they're going from high impact stuff, high intensity, to stopping for 5 minutes to trying to get back to that level again. It just doesn't work, does it?
No.
Yeah, it needs sorting. Something needs to be done about it. But we've touched on Lee and Cass, obviously, too. I don't think it was going to be a highlight of the weekend, but probably best thing about that for Lee is getting there, getting the 2 points and getting out. I think they ended up with a ban for Hughes now. Has he got a ban from that?
I don't know. I haven't seen the disciplinary this week, but
I think possibly they ended up with a ban for it. But obviously it was missed on the thing, wasn't it? So yeah, again, not clear, but a good win. I think Cass will probably be disappointed. I think
they'll be very disappointed with that. I thought if Cass had won that, I don't think anybody would have said Cass didn't deserve to win. Like I say, I think Cass were a try behind at one point, and then they made an error inside their own sort of 30, inside their own half anyway, and Adam Cook went away and scored the try. So I think that,
a bit of a runaway when it just killed it, didn't it?
It just took it away from them. But I think overall, Cass are building, which is good. So I think their fans and whatnot are starting to get a little bit more confidence back, and the players, most importantly, few additions in the forward pack and whatnot. So. Yeah, listen, this season wasn't always going to be all sunshine. It was sunshine and rainbows. So it was always going to be a little bit turbulent. So, but a lot better than last season.
So I think if they were going in a case of win 1 week, lose the next, win 1, lose the next, you did take it. I think if you were a Cass fan, because like I said, they are still in a building phase at the minute. So fair play to them. They were sticking in games, and again, playing against Lee last year would have been a game where they'd have been probably beat 40, 50, something like that. So let's touch on our mate Ricky, obviously turning himself over into Paris at the weekend. Bit of VIP treatment, I think, for him. And still, as you can see, guys, he's not managed to make it back. He said he were having that much of a good time that he's
fallen in love over there.
Fallen in love. He's going to be taking a new role up at the Catalan Dragons, and we wish him well. So cheers, Ricky. Thank you for coming. No, he'll be back with us, I'm sure, very soon. Busy tonight, but yeah, obviously he did go over there and touched on obviously the event, and obviously he showed us what it was like beforehand. Hopefully we've got some footage to share from that. It looked a good spectacle from kind of the build up to it and everything. What do you think of the actual game?
Like I said, the spectacle's good. Everything's good for the game. I just don't think Catalans have probably been in the position for this season and last season to be in it. They haven't been in a position to be probably doing this sort of stuff because they're not there, are they?
I expected Catalan to maybe get a win here.
I think we both predicted a Catalan win just with Wigan. Maybe being a little bit tired from boozing really from the Challenge Cup, but don't get me wrong, can't really take away from Wigan. I think any team can probably lose like that to Wigan, so I don't want to be too harsh on Catalan. Wigan rocked up right from minute one, really. So
I think the thing is, the professional art. They like to Wigan. Paris is easy to get to. Quick flight out, land. Paris fought. I'm sure with it being it was Saturday one at the game, so I'm sure they probably stayed over and came back on the Sunday as such. So they've probably made a good weekend of it for them. And again, been able to enjoy the celebrations and almost continue that sort of high from the Challenge Cup final. And they seem to be back to that sort of devastating best that they were at the start of the season. And that blip's almost forgotten about, isn't it, in the middle? But that's rugby. I think in terms of Catalan, they'll be really disappointed because I think the best thing that came out of that for French Rugby League was the final that were played before it. I think that's had more probably footage and shared because of the way that ended and how good that was. And yeah, I suppose if there's one good thing, then maybe that came out of it. But I think as Catalan as a product, will it have gained any more Parisian followers or not?
I think potentially it's all good exposure, and it doesn't matter really what the scoreline is per se. But it's still great for the game.
I think if they could do more of that and facilitate more of it in the capital, that's what they need to do. Like, I think how good would it have been if PSG sustained itself from them early doors? Like, to have a PSG that's on top of Europe at the minute in the football to then.
I think it'd just be brilliant across the board if France had its own competition. That's not me saying I want to get rid of Catalan now. It's definitely not. But having another country that's real strong, and then you're cross-wired. Then aren't you? You've got Australians playing in France. You've got French players playing in Australia and England and vice versa. And I think it'd just be good for another country to.
I think this is the thing. Like, until football's grown as a game because of how strong European football has become, and that European. The pinnacle of football is the Champions League in my eyes, and how 100%. I see that as a product is bigger than any other league. Everyone watches it, whether you're a fan of Arsenal, City, Real, Barca, PSG, you watch them games because you think, well, superstars on show. And at the moment, we just don't have that in rugby league, do we? And
Jack Farriman put a very good showcase on, didn't he?
Well, yeah, he was fantastic, wasn't he? Again, coming on to Farriman, we spoke about him last week. I know Ricky didn't seem to think they were have to make space for him, but if he continues like he does he make headway to this England squad?
I think he's got chance to. Honestly, I think he's definitely got chance to. It depends, like I say, it depends how they go with it because Farriman is an out-and-out 6. He definitely can't play 7, and I don't think control the team. And I don't think you want him to do that. I think you wanted to let him be a little live wire, but. He's got a chance. He's definitely got. He's putting himself in a very strong position. So if he carries on playing like this, but I know we spoke about it last week, but he isn't sitting behind, as a second option for too much longer in my eyes.
If don't matter what Super League club you're at, but you've got choice of signing Mikey Lewis or Jack Farriman, who would you be signing?
You'd have to go with Mikey Lewis. For now.
What if I told you that Jack Farriman comes at half the price?
Well, that's the biggest thing at the minute, isn't it? It's Jack Farriman, don't get me wrong, if he was to leave, I don't think he'd be on a bad contract by any stretch, but he would be more than... What
sort of brass do you think he's on at Wigan?
I won't like to speculate, but I don't think he'd be on more than 50 or 60. I think he'd be on I think he's on the cap. What's the cap? I think he's the cap at 30.
Well, I look at it from that view of that Lance Todd was massive for him.
Yeah, it was.
And I know in the past, I remember Jeff Lehmer for Wigan won the Lance Todd. Players have won it, which always you'd never expect to win them trophies. Kevin Nguama winning the old Harry Sunderland award at the grand final. You expect it to be playmakers, don't you? And I think Farriman coming in, I don't think anyone expected him to do that. Even with him being a playmaker, if punters were looking at it, they'd be looking at the likes of Harry Smith, Jai Field.
I think the biggest thing is he's churning out really consistent performances.
Yeah, he is.
And I think you look at it now.
But in that blip, he wasn't. What he really? I know he sort of like.
He wasn't. He struggled. He struggled a little bit, but that was just coming to the team. That was when they went on the bad run as well. So it was a little bit hard. But I think, listen, he's come back from that, and it's all learning experience. Like I said, he's still only 19. But like I said, I do think he isn't going to wait around a load longer at Wigan to get that 6 jersey. And I'm not saying, listen, he might do another year next year, but I think next year will be his last year not being the main man. So that's down for Wigan and how Radlinski sees that one playing out.
But I think if we look at it from an English point of view, you look at the halves now, like across the competition, that you've got Brown at Leeds coming through. You've got you could include Lewis still in that. You've got Jack Farriman. You've got George Whitby. You've got Ewan Irwin. You know, Lewis Dodd's not even that old. You know, these players, like, there should be a massive competition now for them halfback spots. That's why I think when we look at it now, when we think about who are the halfbacks for England, we're looking at Mikey Lewis, Jake Conor, George Williams, Harry Smith. They're the four that, like, I think everyone would just go to. But if we then looked slightly beneath that, you've got players there that are doing not doing a job in Super League week in, week out, but a lot of them are playing consistent.
I think Lewis Dodd won't necessarily be happy with his time since he's been, but I think Lewis Dodd's been really good and so underrated, but he's been in an underperforming Catalan side.
I know he signed that new deal, but do you think he'll stick with that deal?
I think there's potential of him coming back to England.
I think he needs to go either Saints, Wigan. Well, he won't be needed at Wigan, but Warrington, possibly.
You even look at like Hull KR. I mean, I don't know what's happening with Tyrone May, but there's rumours he's only got one. Obviously, he's got next year at Hull KR as well, but he's also rumoured to be expected to go to PNG, and look, they'll need a 7.
I'll tell you what, Tyrone May. Do you see that try that he scored?
Unbelievable.
Like, no one touching him.
Unbelievable.
Even the one that Lewis scored, no one's touching him. He's like walking around in dinner suit. Yeah. Does he get tackled?
No. But yeah, you've got these sort of there's a massive market for it. You mean look at LFC? Well, season looks to be heading out at door end of this season, but then you look at it. I don't know what.
I think he'll be on his way, won't he?
Yeah, 100%. But then you look at it, because listen, Hull aren't skimping about with money.
Yeah, big money offer for him to come back.
And I think they're in a massive overhaul again.
The thing is, I know for a fact Lewis Dodd coming through was the best. He was the next best thing coming through.
Yeah.
But people who have been in the game a long time saying he's the next best, number 7, and will be playing for England. And something's not quite gone right. If he'd have remained at Saints, could things have possibly have been different?
Potentially, yeah, potentially.
You know, he gets the clutch moment in the World Cup Challenge. I mean, he were flying, to be fair, and he had that bad Achilles injury, and just seems to have maybe either lost that yard of pace.
Well, to be fair, he never got given a chance at Souths.
No.
I think that was clear to see. He didn't get given a chance at all. In my eyes, I don't think he even got the starting 7 jersey once. Like, you know, in the team lineup, he were either off the bench or sort of 18th, 19th man.
Yeah, he wasn't a fair crack, was it, that? And I think by his own admission, I don't think he'd completely write off the NRL, but end of the day, he's probably done all right monetary wise out of it. He's got a gig back over here in south of France, a couple of years contract. Probably not too much pressure on, I wouldn't have thought, but you know, because he's got another big name player next to him that's just as kind of held accountable as he would be. Yeah. But yeah, I think if I'm Saints, I'd be looking to get him back.
I would.
I think.
To be fair, I don't think Hastings is top of the assist charts, so you're always going to get that argument. But I don't think Hastings is 7.
Yeah, if Hastings is still there,
I don't think Hastings' long range kicking game is good enough to be classed as a 7 in my eyes. I think Hastings is a 6.
Where could you see him going to? Even if it wasn't next year, where would he go to?
Lewis Dodd?
Yeah.
It depends what he wants out of his career now. I think you know,
could you see somewhere like Wakefield?
Well, I think coming back, obviously he might be. That'll be a conversation for himself. It depends what he wants to do. Does he want to? Is he back now? Listen, he won't be on. He'll be on a decent contract at Catalans, but does he come back now and just thought, I just want to soak up as much money as I can?
Yeah. It's the mentality of the player, isn't it?
Yeah.
If he wants to go on and win things, if he wants to go on and represent his country, which I'm sure he will do. I'm sure he's done it as a younger lad in the Scholars in the academy. I think if he wants to come back and play and be England's number 7, be that best player in this country, he needs to go to Saints, Hull KR, Warrington. I'm going to exclude Wigan because I don't think there's any going there. But it's Warrington, Leeds, possibly.
I'll tell you what. The only thing
Leeds wouldn't be a bad shout, and I know they've got Brown, but whether they could play the two of them. Conor ain't going to go on forever either there.
I know, but he's got a new 3-year deal, and this is the problem with your halves. They get.
So has he got 2 years after this, Conor?
No. He signed it.
Because didn't he only do one? But then
he signed a 2-year deal.
Oh, did
so he was free to hit the market in November, last November.
Yeah.
So this was last year, and he signed, unless it were a 2-year on top of this, so we've still got this year and 2 years at minimum. But either way, I don't think going to, this might be outlandish but I think Saints are years away from winning a grand final, or they might be able to snatch a Challenge Cup. But I think the mentality there and the culture has just gone so far wrong somewhere over the
maybe just how it finished with the fans there. I think they were a bit.
So listen, don't get me wrong. It comes to November 1 this year, and Lewis Dodd can speak for the year after. So is that a case of Hull KR come and speak to him and say, look, Tyrone May is going over there, and he might look at that and think, look, I get to play next to Michael Lewis, who's obviously
and if them two kill it, well, you just play them both at the same time, wouldn't you? And there's no dramas then, is there, to play together?
Like I say, it all depends on what Lewis wants to do. Obviously, for me,
he's probably too similar to you and Irwin, isn't he? So if Irwin's still at one, won't be going there. Wigan's a no-go. St Helens potentially, as we've spoken about. Leeds, it depends how far they see George Brown away. Yeah. I don't think Brown's next year. It could be like even the following year. But then if Saints were interested, what does that say about Whitby? Maybe it's a case if they've got their eggs in Whitby now, I don't know. But I think Hull KR could be a very good shout if Tyrone May is on about going there for that season, which if he does another season, so he'd have another season, won it at KR, Tyrone May, then go.
Yeah, so they're both
next year as
they're
well.
They're both contracted next year. Well, so
he's got next year, Dodd's there, and then he leaves and goes there. I think it'd be a good replacement.
Yeah. I
think it'd be a pretty sounding board, and I don't think it'd be mega money either. I don't think it'd be, put it this way, I don't think it'd be more than what Tyrone May's on. I don't think so, unless he has a big...
The problem is with your
Depends
English,
what you attract, doesn't it? But I think the likes of London would be very interested and be able to offer good money.
Well, your English spine players get big bucks because...
Yeah, well, yeah, there's not...
So, it's just one of those, we'll wait and see, innit?
But on to Hull KR, obviously, another loss.
Yeah.
Surprising. I fancied him to go and back up, and put in a good performance, but they weren't way off, were they? But like I say, a good win for Wakefield, and again, they seem to like these Saturday fixtures, Wakefield, I think.
Yeah, I think Wakefield started really strong. Yeah.
I think it surprised me, the missed tackles from KR. Again, it were very similar to that cup.
That were a worry. I think the biggest thing that Willie Peters won't be happy with, though, obviously Wakefield just lost a man, and Sosa Sue just clenched his fist and obviously swung his arm.
That was bizarre. What was he thinking? That's got to be like adrenaline rush, something
must
like.
Must be, because I just think when obviously Wakefield have just lost a man. You've got the advantage there of an extra player. There was winning at that point. I think there was winning at that point. So all you have to do is see out the game, really. And just
crackers, wasn't
it? Definitely a red card.
As well seems to turn up against KR for some reason.
Yeah, really good Mason Lino. Obviously,
strange player, isn't he? Because I think it's very similar to what he was like at Knights, and even when he was probably younger at Warriors and stuff like. Yeah. I think there's clutch moments he can have in games and plays really well. A good kicker, seems to organise really well, backs up really well.
Yeah.
Quite unpredictable, so he's got quite a lot going for him, but just doesn't seem to be. He's just not consistent, is he?
No, I think that's been the
but he's been a bit in and out as well.
He has. But no, I thought he went really well on Saturday. I thought Wakefield deserved the win. All in all, really good watch for a neutral.
I thought so. Good game.
So
seemed to provide a lot of entertainment, Wakefield, at the minute. So fair play. They're cracking on, doing well. Our school actually for a stadium tour in a few weeks. So cheers Wakefield for that. Thank you very much. Sure, kids will be 8 new Wakefield Trinity fans soon.
Yeah.
Taking a Cass fan with me as well, so I think he's just going to sabotage, but we'll see. We've got to drop on to Huddersfield because, like I say, we had Kieran on here the other day, and obviously he's spoken, and he's not the only player at Giants we've spoken to that said that. Obviously, Jim's come in and really sort of like that cultural shift, what Giants are looking for. It's been there, he says, in the last couple of weeks, and it's not going to happen overnight, is it? But to lose by that margin, Yeah, I can't be doing that.
Embarrassing.
I think the whole thing, have you seen the video when they're walking out of the tunnel? I mean, we spoke to Keir about facilities and stuff, and obviously at Dewsbury, they're walking out the tunnel, they've just got some Giants flags on the wall. I'm just looking, thinking, what are you doing?
Well, the biggest worry for Huddersfield is what are they bringing to Super League right now?
Not a lot.
They're bottom of the table. They're not playing as well as the newly promoted sides. The newly promoted sides are offering more to the game at the minute.
Just in terms of actually, not even the product of what they're giving on the field. I think the other teams are just offering more.
Yeah, but yeah,
if Giants finish bottom, do you think they're gone?
I think they could be, yeah, because unfortunately Super League has got no option at the minute for a buy round, so we can't have 15 teams at the minute just because 13, yeah. We just haven't got, because then you lose Magic Weekend, which is massive for our game. Like I say,
75,000 tickets apparently sold.
So which is huge for our game. So we'd lose that. It just makes things awkward with the Challenge Cup, things like that. You'd have to give someone a buy for that.
Yeah.
It doesn't work out. So I think if they finish bottom, they've currently got no stadium for next year or no plans of where they're going to be playing at. I think how can you possibly keep them in Super League? But yeah, obviously, I'll touch on Toulouse. Toulouse were unbelievable, and Ollie Ashall-Bolt were just scarily good.
Yeah, he's been very good, and obviously it'll have been good already. He was good last season.
Yeah,
people just haven't been able to see it. But think of some of the pitches that he'll be playing on now compared to what he was playing on last. Every pitch he plays on, most of them.
He'll have been used to playing on.
He's playing on Dewsbury, Batley. All these teams that are going to be struggle to play against. But yeah, there's got to be some admirers, I think, for his signing. And again, like where are you looking at?
To be fair though, he's been settled. I think he's been over there 5 years now.
Yeah.
He don't see. They love him over there.
Yeah.
Toulouse. The president loves him. So I don't think he'll budge. Me personally, I think he really
reason to, is there really?
No, really enjoys it over there. And like I say, if you've been over there 5 years now, you probably think he's pretty settled. But yeah, he's just unbelievable. Some of the stuff he was doing was just a little bit freakish.
It was, wasn't it? I thought the same when I seen it. And I mean, the flick back on the inside,
Scary. But yeah, just playing unbelievable. But this is the thing, you go through Toulouse's team and you go through Huddersfield Giants' team. I mean, Huddersfield Giants they've got internationals in there, and all these players that play these massive clubs.
You know what I mean? They've got big players, big
names.
That's
what I just think. What's going so far wrong there? Like they need a massive culture change, but I think they could be in serious trouble with.
If they went ahead and finished 6th in the table, say, and it would have not saying a mediocre season, but one more than they lost, finished mid-table. Do they stay in the league still?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, I think on that, but I think the fact that the rugby is so poor as well, they are actually not offering anything.
No, they're not offering anything.
I think they've made their recruitment's been really poor. I think
shocking. I don't know who's been doing their recruitment, but their overseas recruitment, they've got a few right. This like Chris Patolo looks pretty good, but this is the thing for me is a lot of their squad. Obviously, if there was to get relegated, all the contracts get ripped up. 1 to 17, every single one of them players gets a gig in Super League.
Well, this is what I mean, because quality's not there, is it? So they'll get somewhere. It's not to say they'll be on the same money, but maybe there's not that fear factor of, I'll go down and I'll just I think then sometimes more players. I mean, you've got Harry Rushton, Eugene, 6'3", loose forward. He's already had admirers before he signed his new contract extension. I think Warrington were fairly keen and Hull FC. But you look at the likes, so remember like Luke Yates.
Yeah.
Like to keep hold of someone like him, he's gone. He jumped ship and a really good time to do it. To be fair, and he's kicked on and done really well. But there's players like that if you take them out of that team, they could slot in a different team
100%
and be a completely different player. I think there's just too much to do. Like you're saying, whether it's the personnel that's just not the right fit, the coaching environment, is it the not the owners, but like the directors and the people that run it there, those that are in charge of recruitment, going on there?
Someone's got to take a little bit of blame.
Someone has, hasn't there? Someone has to take accountability. Their demise from And I know people have commented on here before and said, there's no way we want Watson back. Well, Watson had you third in the table in a Challenge Cup final.
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
what's happened since there? Because something has gone wrong since that. And clearly, they're in a way out at the minute.
yeah.
You know, there's nothing, we don't know what's going on with the ground and everything else.
I think that's the main one when you don't know where you're playing next season.
I don't know where they're playing. What player wants to go there? The only thing that would attract someone to Huddersfield is if it were a monetary incentive to go there.
Tom Burgess.
You know, it's, again, they need a clear out, they need to stick, they've got good young players, they've always had good academies, good scholarships. To get
That potentially is the only thing that hangs well, is the fact that they have got a good youth. So
yeah, you think like these sort of players in the past that they've had, you know, like Luke O'Donnell that were there, you know, big names, but they were like international play, like proper international players, weren't they? And now they're not going to keep hold of anyone, are they? At this rate, anyone that's performing half decent for them is going to be on the way.
You look at George Flanagan. Every time he plays, he usually kills it, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. Like I said, you know, some people comment saying, "Oh, well, he can look a bit weak defensively." Like he's only a kid still.
I think they forget that he's a young kid.
You know, I mean, he's going to learn, but attacking wise, you don't put a foot wrong. He's got to try on the weekend, so. You know what I mean? I bet there'd be a lot of suitors out there for him.
I think so. I think there'd be a lot of people having a good look at him and seeing if he's going to come available. So, yeah, lots of work on there with Huddersfield, and then probably a game which had not the makings of a you know, an explosive match, but York and Bradford, there were probably a lot to play for. And I think it was important who got the 2 points there. We did fancy Bradford just with that home advantage, and I think it just suited them in the end. The pitch looked a bit dewy. To be fair, you know, it looked like it were quite a slow game, I thought.
I think all the games that I've watched down there this season have looked slower.
Yeah.
I don't know if the ground seems like a little bit softer, or I'm not sure, but yeah,
it was too little, too late, wasn't it? For York, once they'd kind of got the head Bradford, and I think they'd sort of just held on. I suppose it didn't matter what York did at that point; they were just too far. I think York, they haven't got enough bodies. I think they could be. If Giants at bottom, I think they'd be sort of there and thereabouts.
For me, this is the result of slinging them in Super League a month before, or 2 months before pre-season, and you know, you're trying to get them to make a Super League roster on 2 months, month and a half's notice. We're never going to be long enough, and that was the biggest worry. But to be fair, in all fairness to all three of them, they'll all give it a good crack.
I think so. Yeah, we're nearly halfway into the season. They've all definitely brought something to Super League. I would like to see all of them given a licence for, say, 3 years with an exemption from relegation. I think they deserve it for what they've brought into the competition, and definitely to see a big York, a big Bradford, and then another good French team. That's probably the best expansion at the minute we could probably do. I know Bradford have been there and done it before, but to have a powerhouse like them in a team city again. We're talking Leeds. Well, you want a big Bradford because another club that's actually a city, not a town. You know, we've got Toulouse in there, we've got York in there. These are cities that we're talking about. You know, not local towns. Like, you can understand why the likes of Fev, Batley, Dewsbury have not quite made it in. They're not cities. What are they going to bring? Whereas these other places, we can expand within the city.
Yeah, well, touching on, obviously we'll touch on London Broncos signing Toby King. Surely that means they're in Super League next year.
I would think so, yeah. I would think they're in there. They've obviously got the Papua New Guinea lads that they need to be playing Super League, like Chammers said, for them to be going over to PNG that following year. And you never know. Look, I mean, you forget about the likes of Campbell Gillard, still there.
Oh, they've got a scary team. That Maria, that fullback.
Yeah, they've got the that win at the weekend was that's doing nothing for the game. It's doing nothing for them. To beat someone 134-0, that's about a try every 3 minutes.
I feel sorry for London though, because like I seen Grant part of a tweet saying, obviously they did go to get into Super League last year. It's not their fault that they recruited for Super League, didn't get in Super League. Yeah. The players still wanted to play, then go there.
That's an interesting one. I'm interested to speak to Grant to ask him how that actually unfolded, because I, for one, expected the likes of Campbell Gillard, again as I use an example, to go on loan for the year somewhere
Super
else,
League
get him
club,
off books. Because let's be right, they could have still have got rid of him, but still have had a good season. But he won't be there on cheap money. Someone could have picked up his contract, or whether it was too late maybe for someone to pick up his contract.
The problem is they can only play who's in front of them, so...
Well, that's it,
just,
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Just unfortunate, innit?
I know these the Championship clubs aren't a massive fan of the proposed NRL deal, but I think the Championship's dying.
Yeah.
Like the Championship is dying. That proves it, because if you do listen, London have got some standout players in there, but I think if you look at the full roster, it's still not like if you put that roster into Super League now, I don't think they're necessarily doing better than York, Bradford and Toulouse.
No, I don't think so.
Right now, still give it a fair crack like the others have, but
they won't do any better though. I don't think.
No,
still a lot to be added there, but Toby King's a start. He's a solid centre. I think Warrington and Wigan for that year have had the best of him. But yeah, he's definitely a solid player to have on there, and a good if they're signing players and getting players down there now. I think that'll be just the start, and there'll be a few more I think going that way. And I think going to London now is very different to going to London 5 or 6 years ago.
Well, Toby King wouldn't have gone, would he?
No.
Back then, obviously, like I say.
So there's something going on.
Well, Chamas said, didn't he? Obviously, people would want to go play for Daniel Lockyer.
Yeah.
And it's a new venture. They've rebranded, and
I
they're going to attract some.
I think they will end up getting some of the Broncos 20s people off the roster there.
Well,
as well.
I think they'll
from
get
there.
stars. I don't think they'll get.
For him to go there, there's got to be something, and it to be announced and done this early doors. Yeah. There's got to be something that he knows about that they've said. Yeah. We are looking at these players, and he's thought, do you know what?
Oh, yeah. Their marquees will be better than any other marquees in Super League. That's a fact. Their overseas will be a lot better than any other clubs overseas. It's
going to be interesting to see how it kind of pans out, and looking forward to obviously seeing what comes of that. And obviously when we do get us a conversation with Grant, we will be able to go into all that sort of stuff. And obviously we've rounded sort of this podcast today, obviously talking about the fixtures in a bit more detail, but looking at a few different points in rugby league at the minute, and coming on to some different transfers, signings, referees, Arthur extension, potential new stars coming back, a Lewis Dodd diversion, a few points to bring up there. But I think it's worth kind of finishing as we always do, just looking ahead to this week's fixtures. Seeing what's going again Thursday night. We're looking at Saints again, but at home. Saints versus Warrington. I'll kick us off. I think Saints will get a win here. I only think that because I think they weren't too far away from beating Leeds away. And even though we've spoke about a lot of the stuff that's going on at Saints at the minute, and there's a lot of problems there, I think if they can put in 60 minutes against... I think they put in 40 minutes, I reckon, against Leeds. But if they can put in 60 and a bit of discipline, been a little bit better, I think that's enough to beat Warrington. I thought Warrington were fortunate on Friday night. So whether they pick up their game, which they always seem to do when they play away at Saints, that'll be interesting. And I suppose to see what kind of personnel they've got available. But hitting both teams down on a few troops. But I think Saints will just sneak a win and will paper over them cracks a little bit again.
Yeah, potentially. I just think with that first half performance at Leeds, that's worst I've seen him play this year. I think just that loss against Castleford for Saints, some
that was significant.
So that wasn't just we've lost by 6-12 points. They got hammered against Cass. I'm going to go with Warrington just because I believe they are going to be in the top 4. And I think this will be a game that they'll be looking at thinking they're going to win. But to be fair, I'm not 100% on this. I think this could be a very 50-50 game. I'm
going to go Saints to win, but I'm also going to put it out there. I think Jack Wellsby will have a good game. I think he could be man of match in this one. I just think he'll have a good game. He's due one, isn't he? Let's be right.
He's been due one for 18 months.
Well, he has, yeah.
And I have stuck up for him, but he has been due one for 18 months.
I'll call it there. I think he'll have a good game.
Well, in fact, this will be a good one, actually. Remember when he first came through, he used to get man at match like every week?
Yeah.
When do you think his last man at match was?
I don't even... Did he even get one last year?
That's what I mean. I'm talking like I think he's like. And bearing in mind you're talking about, you know, like after the first year he got the one shirt.
Yeah.
He must have had a good 12 man of the matches that year.
Easy probably. And even all the ones where he were playing, like you say, in centre on the wing, he were taking man of the match there when he was 18, 19 year old. So, yeah, interesting. It's a good point. That we'll have to find out, see what it is.
Yeah.
Right, Toulouse and Leeds. That could be quite a good game. That, to be fair, Toulouse at home.
Yeah, it could be a good game. Obviously, with Toulouse coming back off a win, but I just think Leeds could be a little bit too strong from there.
Leeds will build on, I think, that game. They weren't good, were they, against Saints?
And I don't know, is Lockie Miller back or has he got one more game left?
He's got one game
left. But yeah, I think they could just be a little bit too strong there.
Yeah. I think it'll be close. I don't
think I don't think it'll be a blowout, yeah.
Just depends what Leeds turn up, doesn't it?
Well, I think it could be a high
if the
scoring
same
one,
Leeds turn up that did against Saints, I think they get beat.
Oh, 100% if they turn up like they played Saints.
And this is the thing, like we've seen it with Leeds already. And do I think they're a top 2 team? I still don't think they'll finish in the top 2. I think they'll finish the top 4. I just don't think they'll finish the top 2. They've got too many games where that game on Thursday night, and I know you can look at it in 2 different ways. They could have lost that.
Well,
I think if they play St Helens in that game 10 times, I think they'll lose 9 of them.
Yeah.
Well, that probably stands like that, doesn't it? Because they've lost. Well, they haven't won for 9 years.
Yeah.
And I honestly think so. I think, you know, they won against Wigan. They were way off, weren't they? It'll be interesting, I think, because travelling over there probably does say a lot, I think. If you can manage to get a win there, like over in France, it will be tricky. I know they're professionals, but it's a different beast, isn't it, going over there. Toulouse are on the back of a good win. Because no one, to be honest, I didn't really fancy Toulouse to come and win at Dewsbury.
No, I did actually. I think I predicted Toulouse to win, but no, I think Leeds are going to win it. I think it'll be high scoring though. I think it'll be like 30-22 or something like that. Because I think if I can see Leeds going out in front like 30-10, and then Toulouse just getting like 2 and then which they always do. Yeah,
good shout. Hull KR at home to York. I think Hull KR will pump them this weekend. I think there'll be a bit of that revenge, won't they? Right some wrongs from earlier in the season, but I think we're talking could be a 50-60 job.
It could be a tough day for you.
I think so. Could be a tough job Friday night. Wakefield and Wigan. I think this will be a really good game. Wakefield at home as well.
Yeah, Wakefield seem to play pretty well against Wigan at home.
They always have as well. Even when Wakefield were poor, like literally relegated.
Is Addy Smith still out? Did he get banned? Oh, it was just a 1 match ban, wasn't it? So he's back.
Is that what it was? 1 match? Yeah, it probably was. 'Cause it was only a tap on it, really. He'll be back, but yeah, it's an interesting one. Does it catch up with Wigan? Like the euphoria of, as we always say, playing at Wembley, playing Paris, get you sent down to Wakefield Friday night.
Yeah, I'm going to go Wakefield on this one.
I think they could.
Yeah, and I tell you what, if Wakefield win as well, this will bring me to my next point next week when we do the podcast. This is exactly why I don't think they should have thrown that Hull KR game. Because if they lose, because they lost them 4 games on trot, and if they lose against Wakefield now, they've lost 5 games there, and I think that's going to be too much getting back into top 2, mate.
Plus the Huddersfield game, early doors. Yeah, earlier in the season.
I think
the Saints game, that part of that 4.
I think it was part of 4. Yeah. I think the Huddersfield one as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, either way, like I honestly this is why I don't think. And listen, they say like it's not end up well, but when last time Wigan didn't have a home semi before.
I'm just looking now. Wigan are on 16 points and played 13 games, so they've lost 5 so far. So if they lose to Wake, they'll have lost 6.
Games. But I just think when last time Wigan didn't play a semi-final at home for grand final.
A long time ago, I seem to remember. I think they finished. God, it was a time ago. Probably 10 years ago.
I think they struggle if they had to go away against Leeds.
Oh yeah.
I think they struggle.
Yeah. Or
KR potentially. That'd be even worse for them. I don't. In finals football, I don't think they'd win down at KR.
Yeah. And this isn't to say like Saints either, but they won't want to go to.
No, especially not in finals.
Yeah,
finals rugby is totally different to league football. So even Warrington Saints, whoever you don't want that away tie, do you?
No, you don't.
So I don't think that no one's won the away tie in the last 3 years.
Yeah, you don't want to be playing that, do you?
Not in the semi-final, in the quarters they have. I know you won in the quarter.
Yeah.
But not in the semis anyway. But no, I'm going to go Wakefield.
I'm going to go Wake at home on that. I think maybe it just catches up with Wigan a little bit. And then questions start getting asked again, don't they? Yeah. What's going on in the league? Yeah. Hull and Huddersfield tuning into this, but again, I think Huddersfield have always kind of done okay away at Hull.
This could be a tough watch, this one.
I think this is a complete 50-50, and not because they're equally as good. I think because they're equally as poor.
Is that on Sunday?
I think it's Saturday afternoon. Saturday afternoon, 3 o'clock.
I don't think any neutrals getting ready. I have to. I've been being at popcorn thinking this is going to be a good one. We're not going shopping today, love.
We'll stay in for this one. I'm going to go for just a home advantage. Hull.
Yeah,
I thought they looked okay against Warrington, but I couldn't work out, were Warrington really poor or were Hull back in? It seemed a spirited performance.
I think a lot of the times them
SSA is massive for them.
Yeah, he is. But
their go forward was so different when he was on the pitch.
Well, you can always get an offload away, can't you?
But it's weird, isn't it? Like, you remember like before, like Barron and Martin were like just scoring for fun, weren't they? But you know, you've got.
I think the halves. I don't think the halves are good enough. Mate.
No, I agree. I'm not seeing enough from Jake Arthur either.
No, the Jake, but the agency.
The funny thing is, I was expecting him to come here, kill it, and go back home. I'm thinking. I don't know how you're getting a gig back home.
Yeah, the thing is with like Aiden Caesar as well. Like everyone, like he's always got massive raps, but when he came over to Huddersfield, like he didn't. He went okay.
He's too hit and miss for me.
Yeah, I wouldn't
he
say
was like that at Gold Coast.
Then when he went to Leeds, I don't think he did anything at Leeds to make you go wow. And then he's gone to Hull FC, and I don't. I'm still yet did okay last season. I'm not saying it.
No, so missed out on the playoffs, didn't they? But it were an okay season on the back of a very poor season.
Yeah.
I'm just going to go with Hull home. You know, Giants bit of a better performance, but yeah, I think they'll lose by 2 or 4 points, something like that. Catalan at home to Cass. I think Cass could be in for a tough day at office here.
You reckon?
I think Catalan they've got to be due a decent win, aren't they?
I don't know. They've been shocking all season. Catalan have not been any better.
Pulled just like remember the Warrington one?
Yeah,
that's
like Castleford have done.
Yeah,
they haven't been better than Castleford this year.
No, I think again it depends how Cass are travelling.
If they're travelling
via Germany and Australia and then coming back. I'll just go Catalan home advantage. Again, I think it'll be a nice scoring game, 30 odd, 20 odd.
Yeah, I will go Catalan on that one, yeah.
And then Bulls and Lee on Sunday, Bulls at home. I'm going to go Bradford.
Yeah.
I've still not seen enough from Lee. I know they've got slightly better. They picked up some wins. I've not seen enough though.
No, I just can't see Davy Armstrong killing it on that pitch.
No, I think they'll struggle. It just doesn't suit them, does it? That sort of pitch. So, that wraps up this week's fixtures. Obviously, we'll look ahead to next week. If you haven't already, don't forget to like and subscribe. Obviously, they've been going up week on week. Check out his TikTok channel and Instagram. And then, find out the clips from there. We've got more and more guests that are coming along. Thank you to those that have already made an invested interest in our sponsorship for the podcast. If you are interested, get in touch at novasportuk@gmail.com, and then we'll be happy to discuss any tailored packages with you as well. Thanks again, Shay. Thanks for joining us.
Cheers, mate.
See you next week.